The holiday season is slowly approaching, and it's getting to be about that time when, if your significant other is into board games and you may not know as much, you start researching, right? You start seeing what's out there. And if you're looking around long enough, you'll realize some pretty quick things about the hobby is that there's a lot out there, and a lot of it's really expensive. So I wanted to do a quick list of a few different games to get your significant other. This is just gonna be a list of 3 games, but it's gonna be 3 different scenarios, let's say, right? Of different examples of what your significant other may like in a game. So let's dive right into this list with the first one that I want to talk about, which is for the significant other who enjoys playing board games by themselves, right? Or they don't have a lot of time to play a board game, so they play a board game by themselves because you want to take them shopping for pumpkin spice things or go on hay rides or I don't know, other things. So I would like to recommend Orchard, a 9 card solitaire game. Now, this is actually a print and play game, which you don't have to really worry about what that means. But it is available if you do know what that means. But you can buy it right now on Amazon. It's like 15, 16 bucks. And it is a very short, quick game. It's billed to be a 10-minute game, which is true. And that's including setup and teardown time. It is very, very fast. But basically, the way it works is that you have a deck of cards and you're slowly getting those cards and you're overlapping the cards to match the fruit that is on the cards. The more that overlaps in a stack that's of the same type of fruit, the more points you get. It's a pretty cool little system. It's pretty fun. It's just it's a game that scores whatever's the highest amount of points that you have. It's interesting, and I think there is a way to play with other people though, but you need 2 copies of the game. But it is a true solo 1-player game at its heart. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, it's really, really fast. So if you're traveling a lot, it's great. You can easily play it like on the airplane little fold out tray. You can do that. You can play it there. You can basically play it anywhere. But like I said, it's a really quick solo only game. It's a lot of fun. It's really neat. So the next game I want to recommend, though, is a game that you would like to play with your significant other, but maybe you don't know board game mechanics that well, right? Like you want to be a part of the hobby, but you don't know a ton about it. What I would recommend is a story-driven escape room type game. Now, there are games out there called like Escape Room or something, or just Escape or The Exit, right? And I'm not going to talk about those. I want to talk a little bit different, and that is Escape Tales. Now they have different ones. One's called The Awakening, Children of Wormwoods, and Low Memory, right? And there might be more now. But basically, it's a story-driven escape room in card form, and you solve these different puzzles that are on these cards. You use an app to also kind of keep track of things and do different things. But it's got a pretty decent story to it, and unlike the Exit games, it can be played multiple times. There are different endings that can happen. There are different routes that you can take. There's not like a one-size-fits-all route. And it's not something that you have to really know board games in and out, right? Like you don't have to understand like super complicated mechanics. It's really just kind of deduction and problem solving, I guess. But you're working with other people at the table. So, you get to use your shared combined knowledge to try to solve the, I guess, puzzle more or less of the game. It's a pretty cool game. Right now, I think depending on which one you get, there's some that sell for like 20 bucks, there's some that sell for like 30. I think the one is 40. They fluctuate in price a lot on Amazon. But they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool and they're definitely worth a try. It's fun. And they are long stories. I think the box, most of them are billed around 3 hours per game or something like that. Or I think each one's different. The Awakening says it's in 180 minutes to 360 minutes. Children of Wormwood says it's 450 plus minutes. And Low Memory says it's 3 3-hour games, which sounds about right. So it's a longer campaign, but it's not super long like those crazy long campaigns out there. So as that, lastly, I want to recommend a game for the couple who wants to go head to head, right? And I'm not talking about like a super heavy head to head game, but like not a basic game. It's got some strategy to it, but it's a really, really fun interactive game, a super interactive game, and that is Hana Makoji. This is probably my favorite 2-player game. I know a lot of people recommend Seven Wonders Duel. If you also want to look at a different game, there's that too. Seven Wonders Duel is pretty good, and a lot of people recommend it. But Hana Makoji is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, head-to-head game. It's basically hand management, and each round you're trying to win the favor of different geishas, and you do so by playing out there's 4 different tiles there, and the 4 different tiles have different actions. It's pretty cool in the way that it works. Some of it's hidden, some of it's shown, some of it's the I cut you choose mechanic, right? Like you can decide, or they can pick this pile or that pile. And you play through until you get the majority of geisha's favor, and you get it by getting a certain amount of points. It's a really cool system. I think the games usually last like 20, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how slow you play it. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a good head-to-head. There is some strategy to it. There is some luck to it, but there's a lot of interaction. It's a type of game that you really interact, not necessarily with the game board, but with the player across the board from you. So that's the game I would recommend if you want to really go head-to-head with your significant other. So anyway, this was just a quick 3 list. I hope this helps you a little bit in your buying guide. Oh, by the way, Hana Makoji, before I forget, is about $20 right now on Asmodee. It's harder to find on Amazon, but Asmodee sells it, and I'm looking at it right now. It's $20. So they're all cheaper games. They're not super cheap, but they're pretty reasonably priced games, especially for the board game hobby. So I hope this list helps you. If you want more lists like this for Buyer's Guide, let me know down in the comments, right? Let me know if there's certain types of games you're looking for, or different ideas, or whatever, right? Let me know. And while you're down, to do me a huge favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It really helps me out, and have fun buying some board games.